Do you ever get a taste for some good old Southern style Louisiana gumbo? Well, I know I do. Hi, I'm Kathy Berry with Time to Be Well, and on today's show we're going to cook up some fantastic Louisiana style gumbo that has sausage and shrimp and chicken and okra, and you are going to love it. We'll also be making a sweet potato muffin that goes right along with it that's very traditional, Southern, and healthy. So stay right there. So let's get started. If you ask anybody from Louisiana or the Mississippi area and they talk about gumbo, the first rule is all about the roux. A traditional roux, of course, is just flour and some sort of fat that is a thickening agent and a flavoring agent for any rich stew. But the trick about a gumbo is you have to brown the flour before you add anything else to it. That's what gives it its depth and its richness. So let's get to it. A good old rule of thumb my friend Angie taught me: when you make roux, you want it to be about the color of this penny. That's when you know that the flour is browned well enough. So how we're gonna do this is we're gonna open up our nice Dutch oven that has been well seasoned with many years of delicious things cooked in it, and we're just going to add the flour. Now, some folks add the flour and the fat, but I like to toast the flour first because then you get you just get it nice and toasty, and it's going to get real fragrant, and it's actually going to turn brown, and you have to stand and stir it because it's very easy to scorch it, which I've done many a time. So play with it and stand and stir it. You can watch a football game, watch a basketball game, but this is the trick. The first trick of all is to brown that flour and get it nice and toasty and fragrant. And so this is how you start a really good classic Louisiana style gumbo, and as they say in New Orleans, laissez le bon temps rouler, which is let the good times roll. So you can see our flour is nicely toasted, and once again, it's very fragrant. It kind of has like a popcorny kind of flavor, but you really do have to keep an eye on it and just keep stirring it and stirring it and stirring it. Now, in a traditional gumbo, what they would do would be cook a chicken, and then they would congeal the fat, and then once they would toast their flour, they would add the fat that was congealed from the cooking of the chicken, and that would be the beginning of the roux. And that's very traditional and great, but to make it a little bit healthier and not have saturated fat, we're going to use a good canola oil. We'll get plenty of flavor from all of the good ingredients. There's nothing that shall be missed without using the chicken fat. So I've got like a nice little half a cup of canola oil, which might seem like a lot, but we're going to add a lot of vegetables and we're going to need to saute them. And you can see now, once we add that oil into the flour, it gets that nice, rich, dark color that's like an old penny. And that's how you can tell that your roux is ready to go. That's a classic old trick from the South. So I love the Old South and the old traditional dishes, things that are really good and tasty, and they kind of take you back, and they have a lot of heritage. But I also kind of like to make them healthy. And you won't miss any of the fat and the salt if you just kind of tweak it up. If you've got lots of flavors with other vegetables and seasonings, it will be rich and fantastic. And this is a dish. This is my own personal dish, and we always have this at Christmas Eve. I make this during the day. Christmas Eve is always kind of a busy day. So this is like our standard traditional family dish, but it's a fantastic dish. It's great any time of the year. And so I thought, since it's kind of, like Mardi Gras, and I thought this would be a really cool dish to make for Time to Be Well. So look at that roux. Nice, rich, caramely. I mean, that's just not flour and fat in a pan. That's got something special. So to that, we're going to add our base, our good old onions. We're going to add a lot. We've got a whole chopped up onion that we're going to toss in there. And we're going to add an entire green pepper. that we've given a nice chop to. And we've got about, 2-3 stalks of celery we're going to toss in there. And we've got some nice garlic. Gotta have garlic. So all of that goes in there, and we're just going to kind of let those vegetables simmer around and saute a little bit and get working. Look at that. And that is the beginning of a beautiful pot of gumbo. Now, we've got all our veggies in there. Let's talk for a moment about antioxidants and vegetables. This is why I love this dish so much. It's a traditional dish, but there's not a reason in the world why it shouldn't be a fantastically healthy dish. You can only get an antioxidant from a fruit or a vegetable. That's the only place that you're ever going to get one. And antioxidants are your friends. You know that old saying about let food be your medicine, let medicine be your food? Well, this is an example of that. This is a pharmacy in a pot right here. All of the antioxidants that are in these vegetables are huge disease fighters. And how antioxidants work is they neutralize a free radical that has the capability to damage a cell's DNA. I know that sounds very complicated, and well, what does that mean? Well, what that means is they keep each cell healthy. They keep each cell healthy in a different organ. For example, the onions, they have some special antioxidants called quercetin, and they also have something that's called lutein, and those things are very good for your heart. They keep a heart healthy. The peppers are really high in vitamin C, and we all know that vitamin C has a great disease fighter in terms of all kinds of infections. It's also high in vitamin A, which is really good for your skin. So that's how they work. The garlic, we know that garlic is very good for helping heart health with blood pressure and cholesterol. So all of these antioxidants in the onions and the peppers and the celery and the garlic are big time disease fighters. They also taste great. But that is how, I like to think about, and hopefully you'll think about, when you cook something in a pot. When I put a bunch of vegetables in a pot and I start cooking them, I think to myself, you picked the wrong girl to play with, Mr. Cancer. So when I start cooking in the kitchen. So I can't tell you that if you eat a bunch of vegetables that you're never going to get heart disease, or you're never going to have diabetes, or you're never going to have cancer. But I do know that you set yourself up to have a very good defense, a defense to be able to fight off diseases and keep you healthy, especially during the winter months when there's lots of colds and flus. And so that's just the way that that's why I love nutrition, and that's why I love to cook. It's because it's not just about what tastes good, it's about what keeps you healthy. And so to me it's a perfect marriage. So as you can see, we've got some really nice roux, nice chocolatey looking roux, and we've got our onions, and we've got our celery and our peppers, and they're getting a nice little sizzle. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add our seasonings. I don't think you can make anything good without a bay leaf when you're talking about soups and stews, so I'm just going to throw one of those in there. I've got a nice liberal tablespoon of some Cajun seasoning, and I'm going to add just a little Worcestershire sauce to give it a little depth. Wowza. And then I'm going to add my tomatoes. I've got a can of tomatoes, and I use the kind that had the onions and garlic. Doesn't that just make you happy? And here comes the okra. Now, okra and tomatoes, those guys those are champions. Tomatoes, we know, are really high in vitamin C, and that's fantastic for us. It has a really nice little antioxidant that's called lycopene that's very good cancer fighter. And okra is one of those vegetables that has soluble fiber like oats do. And though okra is very, very good at reducing your cholesterol level, it's also extraordinarily good for people who have diabetes. And here's the deal with weight management and diabetes. The combination of fiber and protein keep you full and balance your blood sugar. And that is the secret for weight control, and that is the secret for people who have diabetes. So fiber and protein are your friends. And you can see all of these vegetables is just a truckload of fiber. And so that's the answer right there. So to this, now we've got our nice seasonings in there. I'm going to add a pretty good amount of chicken broth. Now, traditionally, they might use chicken stock that they would make from scratch, or they would also, folks in the South would maybe use a fish stock, which is really easy to make. And we are using, a commercial prepared low sodium chicken stock, but it's very easy to make your own stock. You just boil up some chicken pieces with an onion and some celery, some garlic, maybe a little mirepoix of other seasonings like bay leaf and thyme, and that's pretty much it. So stock is one of those easy things to make, but you can use any kind of stock, chicken, vegetable, seafood. So that's the color of a good gumbo right there. So you can see right now how important it is to use that, to get that flour nice and browned. That's key. And the way that when you add that flour and the oil together, that's what is the thickening agent is. And it will never make a lump if you've got the oil and the flour together. If you just throw flour or a thickening agent onto something without the fat, then it's going to make lumps. So that whole combination of the oil and the flour makes a really nice smooth sauce. So there we have, all the vegetables are in there. So now we're going to add our chicken. And this is very traditional. And a gumbo, I really think I've been reading a little bit about the beginning of a gumbo. And folks were poor. And so they would use what they had. And so they had a chicken, and they had a little shrimp, and they had a little sausage. And so they would make this big hearty stew. And it ended up being a very traditional dish. But that's a lot of times how really good dishes, come about, is it's kind of peasant stock, and they used what they had, and they came up with a really good dish. It's kind of like the French and a cassoulet that had beans and some sausage. So it's all kind of the same thing. But back in the day, people just used what they had, and they made these good dishes. So now I've got about a pound of shrimp we're also going to toss in here. And I cut them up a little bit so that there would be like shrimp in every bite. My daughter, when I make this, she always prefers the little baby canned shrimp, because then the shrimp is through the whole dish. So that's what she likes. And then I've got some turkey sausage, some turkey smoked sausage. Now, the traditional gumbo recipe will always call for andouille sausage, and you could use that. But I wanted to go for something that was a little bit healthier, and since we've got all those spices with the Cajun spice, the Worcestershire, and we're going to add some sriracha, it's got plenty of bang without the andouille sausage, which tends to be a little bit hotter and fatter, lots more grams of fat per serving. Like this turkey sausage has like 5 grams of fat, and the andouille sausage will have close to 15. So to me, that seemed like a reasonable swap. But, if you were making this for something really special and you didn't want to go super, super healthy, that would be the one change that I would make, is use a little bit of andouille sausage, a little bit of turkey sausage, but I would never use bacon fat or chicken fat to start it with. I don't think you missed that one bit. Okay, so this is how it looks. We're going to add some sriracha just to give it a little sass, because it is a Louisiana dish. I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I'll just add probably, a good maybe 2 teaspoons, and we'll see how that does, and then we can season it to taste as we go along. So what I'm going to do is it's Christmas Eve, or it's, springtime, and we got lots of work to do. So what I would do is I would just turn down the burner, and I would put the lid on, and I would just let this bad boy simmer away for a good hour. And when we come back, I'm going to serve it up over some rice, and it is going to be fantastic, and just like it is in the Big Easy.
ever wonder where all the water comes from? We use more than 100 million gallons per day. It's a lot, but it's okay, yeah, 'cause we got the mighty, mighty Missouri. We pump it out and clean it up so fresh, so clean, so crystal clear. It's made pristine and tested out, the best around without a doubt. Some of the cleanest drinking water in the nation. So fresh and clean, jump in and take a drink, yeah. Kansas City. Once your water is ready to go, giant pumps rush it throughout the city right to your home. Over 2,800 miles of pipe pushing H2O around the city tonight. Every day we maintain and replace the water mains. Miles and miles of pipe each year, bringing you fresh water to your homes and schools, businesses, fountains, and swimming pools. So fresh and clean, jump in and take a drink. Yeah. Kansas City. So fresh and clean, jump in and take a drink. Yeah. Kansas City. Kansas City water.
All right. I want to show you this gumbo because it is fantastic. So here we are. Look at that. Look at that. It's getting nice and caramelized. Our okra's kind of falling apart a little bit, which is exactly what we want it to do. And it is smelling fantastic. If we had smell-o-vision, you could take part in this. But a good gumbo, it has a nice, rich, dark copper color with all those tomatoes and okra and peppers and onions, so that's going to be fantastic. I'm going to cover that back up. I'm going to let it cook a little bit more, and while it's cooking, I'm going to make some really nice sweet potato muffins. I found this recipe on Runner's World. I really like it because it has lots of fiber. It has a sweet potato, it has cinnamon, and we'll talk about all the benefits of those. So let's get this guy covered back up, and he's going to continue to find his way to goodness. We'll get started with the sweet potato muffins. What we're going to start with is 2½ cups of whole wheat white baking flour. I really like to use as many whole grains as possible when baking. It's just another way to get some more B vitamins, some more fiber, keeps you full longer, balances your blood sugar. It's just better for us. So we're going to take 2½ cups of, again, this is whole wheat white baking flour. You can use whatever brand you like. I'm a noisy baker. And here's a ½ cup. All right. To that, we are going to add some leavening. We've got some baking powder and we've got some baking soda. So that will make our muffins nice and fluffy and rise well. And to that, we're going to add a nice big teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon has been shown to help people balance their blood sugar. It's just a really nice flavor. It's really nice to go with, this sweet potato blend. So those are the dry ingredients, along with, we've got about a ½ cup of sugar. I did add some sugar. I suppose you could cut down on it a little bit, but I think with the fiber of the whole wheat flour and the fiber of the sweet potato, it'll be fine. So we're going to give this a mix. Perfect. And now we'll add our wet ingredients. We have 1 cup of mashed sweet potato. Sweet potato is really good for you. It's got a lot of fiber, and much more so than a white potato. It's also loaded with vitamin A, and it's just a beautiful, good base to a nice dinner, and it also is a really nice ingredient to baked goods. So very nice vegetable. We're going to use some applesauce. Instead of using all of the fat in the way of oil, we're going to use ½ cup of applesauce, and we're going to use a ¼ cup of oil. So that's going to help us cut down on the amount of fat that's in the muffin, but it's going to make it nice and moist. Here's our oil. We're using canola. It's a nice baking oil, and it has a really good monounsaturated side that is very good to help us reduce our cholesterol, keep our HDLs nice and high, and keep our LDLs nice and low, which is just the way that we want it. Because remember, the LDLs are the part of the cholesterol that is contributing to laying down plaque, so you want to keep those low. And the HDLs are the powerful little scrubbers that go through your arteries and pick up stray LDLs and carry them back to the liver where it can be reprocessed. So HDLs are good, LDLs not so good. The folks that have the really good HDLs are the salmon eaters, the fish eaters, and the exercisers. So those are your friends. And the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated oils help contribute to that. We are also going to use about a half a cup of buttermilk. Buttermilk is great. It gives baked goods a really nice, really good flavor and really good consistency. People think that buttermilk is going to be high in fat because of the word butter, but actually it's kind of cultured like yogurt because it's the milk that's left after they make butter, and so it has a little bit of probiotics. It's kind of cultured, and it just gives a really nice texture to pancakes and baked goods. So I really like buttermilk. It's very, very healthy, really good for you. And again, probiotics are another one of those parts of food that are like your pharmacy. Probiotics support your digestive enzymes and your bacteria that live in the whole digestive system, and that supports your immune system. So not only does it help you stay healthy in terms of your immune system, but it also just helps your digestive system work well. So there's all of our ingredients in one little healthy muffin, and these would be great for breakfast, or these would be great for we're going to have it with our gumbo. So let's give this a stir, and then we're going to pop them in our little muffin tins. All right, our muffins are well mixed, so I'm going to take this mixer apart, and we're going to move this a little bit, and I will put these great little sweet potato muffins in these little cups, and we'll get them in the oven. Once again, the healthy part of this recipe is we're using some whole wheat flour, which is really good. It's got lots of fiber. We're going to use applesauce instead of all oil, so that reduces the amount of fat. We have a limited amount of sugar, and we are using sweet potatoes, which is a great source of fiber, vitamin A, really good for us. I'm going to use an extra spoon here to get these in the cute little muffin tins. And then these are going to bake at 375 for a bit, and we're going to serve them up with our fantastic gumbo. I can tell these muffins are going to be good. I can just already tell.
It's an investment in the area that is very beneficial and will continue to be beneficial. All along the way, any explanations we wanted, we got. And every day, everything was cleaned up beautifully. They did a beautiful job, a really, really beautiful job.
Hey now, look at these. I gotta be honest in telling you, I might have not looked like I knew what I was doing when I put those muffins in those tins, but I think they look like they're pretty good now. Let's check our gumbo. That is perfect looking gumbo. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little rice in the bowl, because this is the way they do it in Nolans. Put a little rice in the bottom of the bowl, not a lot, just a little. And then on top of that, we are going to add some of this wonderful, savory, fantastic smelling, healthy, and delicious gumbo. That looks fantastic. I have to say, this is one of my favorite dishes to make. I make this every year at Christmas. I really should make it more. And every time I make it, you know, that's exactly what we say is we should just make this more. It's just so fantastic. So this is a really good dish. It's really healthy. It's easy to prepare. It's like a party. It's so festive. And, it'd be a great dish to have for any holiday. It would also just be fun to have for a party, a get-together when you have your friends over for the Final Four or the Super Bowl or whatever. It's just a great fun, festive, healthy dish. Not hard to prepare, but really good. So we've got some nice little sweet potato muffins here. Aren't they cute? We're going to serve those right alongside this fantastic looking gumbo. And that, my friends, is a very healthy, nutritious, Southern style, traditional dinner. These recipes can be found on kcmo.gov and search for Time to Be Well. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kathy Berry, registered dietitian with the Fountain of Health. Thank you for taking care of yourself through better nutrition and better health.